Welcome to today's show. We're talking about something a little bit off of sports. So, Justin Bieber, I know it's a little bit of a catchy headline, what we can learn from Justin Bieber's manager. And for those of you that don't know, the guy that discovered Justin Bieber and who his manager is Scooter Braun. So, I got some really interesting information that I'm excited to share with you today. So, let's jump into it. Arguably one of the most influential people, arguably one of the most successful people in the music industry is my man Scooter Braun. And for those of you that don't know who Scooter Braun is, I actually pulled up his Wikipedia page over here on the side just to let you take a look, take a peek, so you don't even have to bring up the research yourself. So Scooter Braun, record executive, philanthropist, investor. He's most notably seen for the guy that found Justin Bieber. He found Ariana Grande. He found the guy that did Gangnam Style. You know, I think it was the Korean dancer with the Gangnam Style dance. And just a number of other high-profile artists. And obviously he's gotten into film and he's gotten into television. He's worked with Kevin Hart. He's worked with Lil Dicky. But this is relevant to all of us in a sense that we were at a conference. I was at a conference, the 10X conference this past February with my dad. Thankfully, before COVID hit and everything got shut down. So it was obviously great to get that experience in. But he has such an interesting story. So what can we learn from Scooter Braun is he was literally on the brink of disaster, right? So he was hustling, trying to work for Jermaine Dupri. He was hustling, trying to set up after parties for what was it? I actually just took a look at it. Eminem and Ludacris, all the way back in the early 2000s. So he's trying to set up after parties for all of these events, and you know he was hustling. He was trying to make things happen. He wanted to be this high profile person in the music industry. And obviously he was around all of these celebrities and he was around all of these high profile artists. But the really interesting thing is that although he was around all of those people and it might seem like, you know, he has a high profile, he was actually in his own mind on the brink of disaster. And there's one specific instance where he said he was on the phone with his father, crying, disappointed because, you know, he felt inauthentic. He didn't feel really genuine because he was around all these high profile people. And on the outside, it may appear like he was really successful just because of who he was hanging around and all of these huge parties and huge events that he was able to be a part of. But the interesting thing is, on the inside, he knew that he wasn't living up to the person that people thought he was. He wasn't living up to his own standards. And financially, he said he was completely broke. So he was completely broke, things not going his way, crying on the phone with his dad. The very next day, he gets a phone call from Asher Roth. Asher Roth, for any of you guys that remember, created this song, I Love College. And he made about $150,000 from that work with Asher Roth, and he just started to gain some momentum. And then he discovered Justin Bieber, 12-year-old Justin Bieber, singing on YouTube, singing in a church in Canada on YouTube, found Justin Bieber, got in contact with him and his mother, and the rest is history. Obviously, Bieber is a huge celebrity, a huge star, but you know, the big things to learn from Scooter Braun is that success and failure live right next door to each other. He said there's plenty of times he could have given up. There's plenty of times where he could have just thrown in the towel. There's plenty of times where he could have said, you know, things aren't going my way. I'm not making the money I want to make. I'm not getting any momentum. I'm not getting any traction with what I envision myself doing. And he really came to the conclusion that it wasn't all of those outside factors. He said, my competition is in the mirror. So as athletes, as young athletes, how many times have you come face to face with that ever important question? Is it time to hang it up? Is it time to retire? Right? It happens for everyone at some point. Even the best of the best who play professionally for 15 or 20 years have to hang it up at some point. So is my career over? That's an important question that all athletes have to ask. Sometimes it happens that actually the biggest drop off is about age 13 in youth sports, that transition between like middle school and high school for all sports. That's the biggest drop off rate, but it ends for everyone at some point. And oftentimes, you hear stories about all of these outside factors, right? The coach didn't like me, or politics, or, I never recovered from an injury. And obviously injuries are terrible and they happen, and, it's devastating, but is that what you're going to let define your career? So the biggest thing that I took from Scooter Braun is something that he really lives by, is that he says, my competition is in the mirror. So it's about being a better version of yourself every single day, even when things on the outside aren't going your way, even when, in a sports specific instance, even when you're not being able to perform for your teammates, you're not able to perform your skills that you've been practicing and you've been working on. You're not able to take control of the game like you wanted to. The real competition comes, in that mirror every single day, trying to better yourself, because there's so many external factors that you can't control. So Scooter Braun, I know it's a little hypey to add Justin Bieber in there, but beautiful lesson, beautiful story. The man is packed with value, and I just wanted to share that little nugget, that little piece of information, that little piece of wisdom with you guys today. So anyways, I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on the next video.